But I think sometimes what I also kind of believe is it's not you who picks the dream, right? I feel like the dream picks you. You just have to have the courage to go pick it up yourself, right?
On to the next quarter. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of On to the Next Quarter, where I bring to you influential individuals who have impacted my life and I hope can impact yours as well. Today, I would like to introduce you all to the one and only Rohit Jethwani. Born and raised in Pune, India, to a business-driven family, Rohit decided to move to the United States to pursue his bachelor's within business administration from the University of Southern California. After graduating, he moved back to India to pursue his dreams within dance and the Bollywood industry, leading him to work with amazing individuals such as Ranveer Singh, Karan Johar, Remo and Hrithik Roshan, just to name a few. He is now an absolute dancing legend, is the co-founder of The Dhamal, and was assistant director for the movie Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani. He is currently now on his USA dance tour, but has taken time out of his super busy schedule to be here with us today. Rohit, it is an absolute honor.
Oh, wow. What an introduction. I didn't know so many things were lined up my resume.
Yeah, I had to do my research a little bit, but I was so amazed. I was like, wow, you have accomplished so much in such a short period of time. It's amazing.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, it is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And so basically, me and Rohit met through our DDN days back in college. He was on USC Zahair, I was on UCI Zamana, and I honestly don't even know how we became friends. All I remember is I saw you dancing on stage, and I was just mind blown by your talent. But I think what drew me to you most is your energy. I feel like you're so magnetic and you lift everyone's spirits. Just even being in the room with you, we feel that energy because you radiate so much positivity.
Oh, thank you so much. So sweet. What a great introduction, and a sweet talker, and genuine, and something that comes from the heart as well. No, thank you so much. I already feel very, very, very home and comfortable. No, thank you. Yeah.
So tell us, it's been such a pleasure to watch your whole journey, and I know this is the first time we're meeting after 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So tell us, what has that journey been like since you graduated?
I never knew dance could become a career. Sindhi family, right? Comes from a typical Indian businessman household where of course prioritizing something that's more stable and secure is important. I think most Indian families as well, right? But I think sometimes what I also kind of believe is it's not you who picks the dream, right? I feel like the dream picks you. You just have to have the courage to go pick it up yourself, right? So I think oftentimes I was kind of moving towards a more entrepreneurial route where I wanted to go build my education company in India and really change and revolutionize the Indian education system. But I think just things happened where things on Instagram started picking up. So the second video I uploaded on Instagram went viral. And at the same time, when I was working at the education company in South Africa, things were going downhill. So I think I kind of realized that, okay, well, maybe life is giving you a sign that you need to maybe do this, your body can move right now.
Yeah.
So you need to go dance out there and pursue something in arts and entertainment because you also see some traction for it to kind of, work, right? And then Instagram made me believe that, oh wait, because on stage, there were always maximum about 2,000 people in the audience. Instagram was just oh my God, this is your next stage. Because after college, what is the platform, right? There is no platform after college. There's no stage competitions or as a graduate, you don't really go to stage to dance, right?
Yeah.
So I think Instagram became that platform or that stage for you or for everybody. And I think once, so I'm okay, this is not 2,000 people, this is not 500 people, this is not 600 people in the audience, this is half the world, So I guess that's when you realize the potential and you're okay, cool, this is your platform and the world is your stage, just go ham. And then next thing you know, one thing happened, then the next thing happened, and opportunity just came by way, and then hopefully you can hopefully currently right now it's a sustainable career. Hopefully it stays the same as we proceed further.
I'm sure.
Because of course art is uncertain and you don't know how long lasting it is. So hope it can stay the same forever.
Yeah, That's true. And I'm sure it will. You have so much talent and you're willing to always grow and push yourself to your limits. So I feel like that's really important in art. Otherwise, you got to make your own opportunity in this industry. So then my question to you is, how did you step foot into the Bollywood industry, not having any context, not having, family that was in the artistic career? How did you make your break into that?
Yeah, interesting story. So I think this is because of the power of Instagram and social media. I think at one point in time I was creating so much content that I didn't realize, the kind of traction that my account is gaining. So I'm not that person who'll go and see my insights. I don't really care so much about how many accounts reach this and that. I care about, okay, how can we make the next video better than this, and how can we still stay creatively satisfied, right? In the process, one of the people that started following me was Karan. So Karan Johar started following randomly out of the blue.
Really?
And I had no idea. I don't think you know the story.
No.
But one of my friends from LA, from my dance teams, he messaged on the group being like, why haven't you messaged that Karan follows you on Instagram and all? So I'm just like, I don't know he follows me on Instagram. So I've gone to his profile and I've seen this follow back button. And I'm like, okay, I guess I got to fall back, because I don't follow celebrities in general. I don't have this thing to follow famous people. And of course I follow him back and then I send him a text. And then one conversation leads to the other. He invites me to his office for a chat. He asked me what my goals are. I told him I want to act and choreograph in films. He said, well, you just have to get camera experience. I told him, see man, I am trying. And if I get the right opportunity, I'll come and do it. But meanwhile, I can't just wait around. So I have to keep doing my thing, which is keep building content and hopefully build a dance studio in my city as well. And he's like, no, don't worry. I'm doing a film and I'll give you the opportunity. You just have to move to Bombay. It's a Ranveer Alia star cast. It's called Rocky Rani Ki Prem Kahani. It's a rom-com. So if you'd like to come AD on the film, it'd be great. I'm like, yeah. Next thing you know, I'm in Bombay. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I don't even tell the story to you.
What a story.
Yeah.
That's so cool. He just invited you over?
Yeah. We just had a chat. And then, of course, it led to one meeting, led to the second, led to the third. Yeah. And it was a period of across maybe 4 to 5 months. Where we were just discussing things. But yeah, he said, yeah, come on board. So 1 month before the film went on floor, he's like, come, learn, get ready with the script, and just be on set and learn as much as you can. Yeah, there's no blood relationships, no family connections, no references of some Mama Ji, Fufa Ji, something. You know what I mean? But I think that's what it goes to show consistently, where this platform is meant for everybody, or for all kinds of artists and all kind of talent, where you don't need to have a certain set of connections. You don't need to be from Bombay or Los Angeles or New York, one of the biggest cities that's filled with talent. You can be from a small town or from anywhere else. But I think the power of phone is there with everybody, and it's become as cheap as having a free account on Instagram. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, if the platform's used to its right potential, and I say that with a big cautious mind, if it's used to the right potential, I think it can do wonders for people.
Yeah. Wow, that's so amazing. That's so motivating, because I know me starting my journey right now, it's staying consistent, yet still creating that creativity and that fulfillment. And you want to make sure that, it's easy to get caught up in all the stats and am I growing, am I not growing? Yeah. But I think, like you said, the thing is to just stay grounded and to just keep working towards what you want to do.
Yeah, 100%. I think someone told me that you're as good as your last video you create. So someone told me that you're as good as the last video you create. So that's what you keep in mind, and you just keep going. Yeah. I don't think I even remember what video has what views and how many likes and comments. I think it's very important because it's each view, each like, each comment is a person behind their phone screen making an effort out of their day, and of course out of the scrolling business, to make an effort, appreciate your work. But I think at some point it's so hard, also be cautious about stepping away from it. Because it's just that downward spiral road. It just drains you emotionally. And I think to say mentally fit, I think just important to move on very quickly to the next.
Yeah, that's really good. I went to his workshop last week. It was amazing. It was so good. But I loved that you brought that point into class where you were saying, hey, we're here right now. Leave your phones. Why don't you learn? We're never going to have this opportunity to learn ever again from people live, because you mentioned that, hey, you can watch a video 1,000 times, but that's not the same as that learning in class and being present in the moment, which I think everyone gets caught up with all these views and Instagram and, oh, I met this person and let me post it right away. But then they're missing the essence. They're just not even present. And I love that you brought it up. And I wanted to also ask, what made you create the environment and energy in each of your dance classes? Because when I came, man, you made everyone feel so important and so seen, which is not something that I feel in every dance class.
Oh, wow. Wow, I didn't know that was the outcome of it. I don't know that's what people felt. I think the whole idea behind class is empowering people, because I think it's class about students. It's never about the teacher. And if teachers think class about them, you should not teach. Because the whole idea behind class is that you are here to make a difference to somebody and make them grow maybe even by 1%. If you can make everyone grow by 1%, I think like that's already success, right? So I think like the only idea of classes is what I keep in mind is like, oh, how can I make the students be more empowered, or how can I make them a better dancer, or how can I make them a better performer with like, you know, maybe every class that they come to, right? And I think if that's the goal in mind always, your actions already start speaking for itself. In the sense, for example, like if you have a certain vision for something, or if you have a certain mindset for something, or if you have values for something, I think oftentimes what happens is the things you say in class kind of reflect that as well, or the things you do in class kind of reflect that as well. So I think that's the only goal in mind. I don't plan class to the T as much, but I think just keeping this one thing in mind allows me to kind of, you know, maneuver the conversations, or like say things, or maybe kind of, you know, give some sort of tips or share some sort of experiences that will probably help them become a better performer, even by like 1%, you know.
Yeah. And I think it's also the fact that you give every dancer their chance to shine, right? Like you gave everyone the opportunity to come and be on the floor and to dance, or you'll go out of your way to compliment individuals. Whereas some dance classes I go to, I feel like they only cater to the good dancers for social media, or they only call them to perform in front of the camera. And so as a trained dancer myself, I feel discouraged, but I can't imagine for people who are beginners, who are trying to step out of their comfort zone and come to a dance class. I feel like that would discourage them even more. So this was one class that was so refreshing.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
It was so refreshing.
You know, that really means a lot, because I've seen so many classes that do that, and I understand the marketing standpoint. But I also believe that you can still do that. You can still get your dancers out and get your content in place and allow it for your views and traction, whatever the hell you want to do, right? But I think like that's not why I started teaching, right? I started teaching because I wanted to, you know, see if I can empower as many people as possible. And I think like that feeling that you get when you see someone grow even this much by the end of class, I think that feeling is irreplaceable. Because like as a teacher, you're responsible and you have that power in your hands to make a difference to people, right? And whatever you say, people will listen, right? Especially because you're in the position of power, right? And if you say like the right things. So I think like, I think it's a responsibility that drives me. It's that sense of ownership of the craft that allows me to kind of believe that, okay, man, if this is what I've learned, can I share maybe a little bit of what I know kind of to people so that they can maybe become better over time. And I think class is all about growth. It's not necessarily about the views and the virality. You know, I'll get the virality on one. I don't need class to get the virality. It's fine. But it should not take away from the fact that why I started teaching in the first place. Else I lose purpose. Else there's no point doing it.
Yeah. So were your parents supportive of your whole journey?
Oh my God, this is a whole new conversation of its own. Mom always very supportive. Okay. The most supportive person on this planet. Till date, whenever I teach in Pune and Bombay, she will still show up. At the end of class. I remember in the Jhumka class as well, the What Jhumka class in Pune, she has showed up in a full sari, decked out and being like, I am coming to perform. I don't know who your students are. I don't care what your structure format is. I'm coming to perform. So mom is the most supportive person ever, like the ever. I think dad is very supportive, but he comes from a very financial standpoint. In the sense that I don't think he has a problem with what I do, I think he just has that little fear that I want my sons to stand on their own 2 feet. So both me and my brother, we should have the capacity to live an independent financial life. And I think like that's the concern he comes from. So, but I think like the minute he realized that each class probably makes more than what a bank manager makes in a month, I think he was just like, okay, cool. You can go do your thing.
That's good.
I remember at one point of time, I'll throw in some Hindi here as well. But I remember because that's the first language of dad. I remember one point of time also, like he was just asking me, he's like, I'm like, Dad, see, the followers are coming in, views are coming in. And he's like, so what? So what all these followers and views are coming in? Like, you tell me how much money he's making. I'm like, no, Dad, that's not the point. The game is very different. It's not like you buy a pair of socks for 5 rupees and sell for 10 rupees, right? Yeah. The game is very different where you probably invest into the content, invest in the brand. And once the brand is made, like you'll get the money and returns eventually. For example, I told him, see, something like a Virat Kohli has an audience of 100 million people. So he'll charge certain amount of rupees for doing one Instagram post. For example, he charges 1 crore rupees. It's all Indian terminology, but he charges 1 crore rupees. Yeah. I'll probably charge 10,000 rupees, at that point of time. And he's like, oh, really? That's the case. Wait, I'll give you 5 lakhs. You make a video every day. And make sure you make a video every day. Make sure you grow every single day. I'm like, yeah, but typical dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think like, I think the support from dad came only once he saw that this was making money and this was getting more sustainable and this was becoming more certain as a career.
Yeah. So what would your advice be for somebody who, a lot of people don't venture into the arts because 1, it's risky, and 2, there's no, constant paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. So initially you probably weren't getting the output that you want, but now you are. So what would you say to somebody who is scared to take that risk, but wants to?
I think, I think like most people say follow passion and whatnot. And I think like that's important. But I also think it's very important to be realistic about it, right? So the only thing I would say is probably just don't live with regret, right? So it's okay if you don't get a chance to pursue your passion, because not many people get a chance to pursue their passion and make it a profession. Very few fortunate ones actually get a chance to convert what they love doing into a profession, right? And like touch wood, I feel like one of those lucky few chosen to who could actually make this happen. But I also like truly believe that at the end of the day, if you cannot find a way to survive and to make money, it's just a hobby, right? Yeah. Art just becomes a hobby, right? It doesn't become a profession. So I think like only if there's a way to kind of make it work, probably go ahead and do that. I would probably think about it in a way that probably do a full-time job and probably do it on the side and hustle it out until like this brings enough money to kind of make it happen. I think a lot of people in the United States of America do this. They have like 2 things going on at the same time, where they probably like make coffee at Starbucks, but realistically they're a dancer, right? Or they're like an actor and they're trying to make it work, right? I know so many people who do this. So I think like that's, for me, is probably the most ideal way until like something kicks off and becomes full-time. Because technically even that's something even I did, but unknowingly, because I was still at my job full-time, but I was running a dance company in LA and teaching classes in LA. And only when I saw like, okay, wait, this can, prove traction, I quit my job over 24 hours and then like started making this a full-time thing. So I think it's just so important to kind of balance both. Or unless you're coming from the second approach, you're coming from the standpoint of savings, where there are so many savings that it's okay for you to not do a full-time job for like maybe a year or 2 and just give it your 100% to the artistic career, right? Because things take time and things can take from 6 months to 10 years. There's no timeline to what, when your art can be received by people, right? So I think that's the second approach. Or the third one is that you just have rich parents and and you ball out and spend their cash until you realize that, hey, this is not working out. I'm a grown man, a grown woman, and I got to figure my way out through life.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so funny. Oh man. So what do you think has been the most difficult part of this whole journey for you?
I think staying mentally healthy. It's so taxing being on Instagram. Yeah. And sometimes you just get lost in the scrolling loop. While I know, that like Instagram, for me to kind of be on the app is very important, because I also understand what other people are creating. And once you know what other people are creating, you understand what to do different. And that's how you kind of stay relevant, or at least that's my way to kind of stay relevant. But in the process, the way the app is designed, sometimes you just get stuck in that rut of just scrolling consistently. And I think you just have to do that conscious step of like stepping out. So I think the big challenge is that while being on Instagram is just so important for the career, it's taken a toll mentally. But I think like I'm trying to stay away from the app as much as I can, so I can still stay within the content creation space and not content consumption space. And also kind of gain the happiness that I get from maybe like this, for example, I know this is being recorded, but the very fact that we're in a candid conversation is very, very, very satisfying for my soul.
I love that.
So I think like just making sure you live experiences in the real world and genuinely connect with people in the real world, I think that's where the true happiness comes from.
That's so true. That's definitely something that I've been struggling with, which is why it's hard when you want to pursue and grow on media, but at the same time, like, people don't realize the toll that it takes and the constant comparison and this and that. And I don't like going out and judging people, but on Instagram, it just like unconsciously happens. You start comparing yourself, you start judging your content versus their content, and then it just ends up going into a very not fun loophole.
We know how it is.
but that's good. That's actually a really, really good point. And so what do you do to make sure that you stay out of it? You just keep doing like in-person connections and
I think like coming on this USA tour has been such a big refresher, because like I'm just tuned out from what's happening in India. I think I'm the kind of guy who'll stay in the moment, or I'm the kind of guy like who, if I am in New York, I will chat to people in New York. If I'm in LA, I will chat to people in LA. For example, I'm going to LA in the next couple of days, and like people, like we have to plan for certain things, but I just cannot plan because I'm just like, no, I'm in this city, I need to make sure this is working first before I can get to the next, right? So I think like for me, I always just try to make sure that I'm just trying to live in the moment as much as possible. Maybe like plan more things socially with friends, because that doesn't happen often. And I think like work takes priority. But I sometimes think it's just so important to just take that step back and just do what makes you happy.
Has it been difficult for you to create that work-life balance?
There is no work-life balance. What work-life balance? It's just work. But I also kind of sometimes believe that if you want to create a work-life balance and stay happy, you can. But I think it also limits growth to a big extent. So I think if you like, at least if you see like the most successful people out there, and when I mean success, I mean in terms of the impact that they've made across the entire world, most of them have a very, very, very shitty personal life. Like most of them are not happy in the real world, or are probably lonely because they have just one dream, right? And the dream is to kind of make the biggest impact on whatever field they're part of. So I truly believe that if you really want to make it to the top, sometimes it comes with sacrifice, and the sacrifice comes with going out, social friends. Like friend circles, finding those small, like little things to do that also kind of help you stay balanced in the real world setting. But I think that's what it takes to kind of be at the top, right? I think it's sometimes say that that's where the tip of the iceberg, there's only a very small room, right? And it's that small room is probably meant for just a few, and that's what's very lonely at the top. So I think it's a whole different lifestyle. That being said, I think it's a personal choice if people want to maintain a work-life balance. But I think it also comes with certain amount of limitations as well.
So is that a sacrifice that you're willing to make?
It's a question I've asked myself multiple times, and I don't know the answer to it. But I don't know the answer to it. Maybe time will tell.
That's true. So you have been in a room with some of the top artists, and I wanted to know, did you ever feel imposter syndrome, or were you like scared to be in the room with those people? I know sometimes when I'm interviewing somebody, I get so nervous in the beginning, and I'm like, oh my God, like, am I even up to par to be able to interview them? Right. Like, can I be in the same room as them? So what was that experience like for you?
I, for some reason, don't get starstruck. I, for some
because
reason...
you are the star.
Oh, no. No. Cheesy, huh, Shweta? No, I don't know what the reason is, but I don't get starstruck often. Okay. I think maybe my experience in the States, allowed me to kind of be that way, because in India it's always sir, ma'am, like they respect the age, and hierarchy is not just based on positions but also based on age, right? But whereas in the States, even if you're 18 years old, they'll still respect you equally, right? Yeah. Where everyone respects each other very, very, very equally. So I think like my experience in the States allowed me to believe it's not hello sir, it's like Professor John, and I call him Professor by his first name. So I'm just like, well, this is also a way to live, and people also kind of respond well to it. And then I tried the same thing back in India, and people responded equally well. So for me in the beginning, it was always Karan. It was never Karan sir, like many of those things. It was always Karan, it was always Ranveer, it was always Alia, and I think even they reciprocate in a very, very, very warm and respectful way too. Yeah. So I think the minute you see that they're giving you the equal respect one-to-one, I think I think that's when you know that it's already a comfortable space to work in. Because I think the problem also comes is when you start overvaluing people. Because the minute you overvalue someone, you kind of devalue yourself. Yeah. And for me, it's very, very, very important to make sure that I understand that like I'm starting today, and it's just the beginning. But like if this at the same capacity and pace goes on for 50 years, I probably will make it somewhere, right? They've already been through that 50 years of journey. That's why they're there where they are, right? But at the same time, it should not discount, the kind of effort and hard work and the talent that, that like we're putting in our work today. Yeah. So I think just keeping that in mind, I always believe equal respect to every single person, regardless of their position, or like how far, or like how far they've achieved in their career. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it puts you guys both on the same playing field.
It becomes easy to work with. Yeah. Else, I feel like if you always treat them above you, they'll always treat you like a fan. Yeah. But if you treat them equal to you, they will treat you like an equal. Yeah. Like 100%. I've seen this happen 1,000 times again and again and again. And I feel like I'm just so big on relationships, so big on networking, that each time I've seen myself put them on a pedestal, I've seen no matter how hard I try again, it always stays as like a you're above and I'm below. Oh. The minute the first interaction is like, hey, what's up, Yeah. Because he doesn't know what the background is, right?
That's true.
So, like, he doesn't know anything about you. So, he just has to assume the best, being like, oh, if he's being this way, means he comes from a place of worth, right? Yeah. Even I don't know what that worth is. But guess what? Even he doesn't know what that worth is. So.
Wow, I love that. I really like that mindset.
Yeah, it's try it.
Yeah, it I will. Okay, so we are almost out of time, but my last question to you is, what has been the biggest lesson that you have learned in your last quarter in life, and what is something that you're looking forward to stepping into this new quarter of your life?
Oh, wow. Quarter. Wow, you make me feel...
I know.
I have finished 1/4 of my life. Oh my gosh. I think there are too many lessons to kind of put them into one sentence. But I think if there's one thing that really comes to mind right away, it's just so important to always learn and be a student. I think oftentimes, I think this is something my mom was explaining to me, being like, I think like when you learn, you constantly grow and you constantly keep on climbing the ladder, right? But the minute you think you're at the top, the only way is down. So there is no other way. So you have to keep climbing, and there is no matter how far you've reached, if you're not updated, if you're not keeping up with what's happening, I think like you will find a way to kind of start falling down, and then and that will become into the snowball effect that's just rolling down like the steep mountain. So I think it's just so important to always just keep learning, keep growing, and I think that's what also keeps you humble and grounded. I don't know, I think there are thousands of them, but I think this is the first thing that comes to my mind. So just be a student for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And what are you looking forward to in this next quarter of your journey?
Oh gosh, next quarter means I'm 50 years old by then.
Anything in the next couple of years.
I don't know. I've never thought about it that far away. I feel I'm not, I have a vision in mind of where I want to go, but I don't necessarily care about what path it takes to get there. Yeah. Because I think especially in this space, you can't plan it like a corporation. Yeah. You cannot plan it like this is my 5-year plan. No, it's just so old fashioned. Yeah. Because Because I think this is just so fueled by opportunities. For example, like something like this podcast is just so out of like nowhere, right? For example, like say if like imagine me planning this podcast like 3 years ago, being like, oh, I will do a podcast at some point in New York. It's not possible, you know. So I think like it's just so filled with opportunities that come by all of a sudden, and sometimes those opportunities lead you to a certain place that you cannot kind of decide right away, right? For example, like the AD opportunity, the assistant director opportunity happened in Karan. Had I been like, oh, I'm going to be in LA for the next 5 years, my 5-year vision plan is to grow it to this level, this and that, I would probably never move to India. And I would probably never move to India. I would have probably never created content. I would never created content. Karan would have never happened. Dharma would have never happened. The ED opportunity would never happened, right? This tour would have never happened. This tour happened like the last 10 days of planning. Like right, 10 days before I kind of like put out the first flyer. That's when I'm just like, okay, wait. Someone's invited me to New York. I got to do a full USA tour, right? And now it's become like this whole ass thing, where even I didn't think it would become this big. So I think it's just so important to, not plan and just stay motivated and like just make sure like at least know which direction you're headed in or what the vision is, but just stay candid and stay free. Yeah. So I'm just waiting to see what comes my way. But if I had to put a goal, I think just to put it out in the universe.
Yes.
I think the biggest goal would be is if USC, which is the school I went to, invites me one day to give a commencement speech at graduation. I think that's like the biggest goal ever.
USC, we'll post it. We'll make it happen. I love that.
I think one day if I get, if my work is worthy enough for them to invite me back and maybe kind of, share a glimpse or two of my life with the students, I think that would be the most priceless thing for me.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. I'm excited.
Well, touch wood. I believe in touch wood.
Yes.
Everything I'll touch.
Well, I am so excited. I'm so proud of where you've come. You're an absolute inspiration. It makes me want to keep pursuing my dreams and not stop. And I know it inspires so many other individuals. I wish we had more time to talk.
I know.
Can
we extend?
No. I wish. But next time, so we'll have to do a part 2.
We'll do a part 2 for sure.
We'll do a part 2. Maybe I'll come to India next time.
Yes, please, of course. Not with this grand setup, but hopefully we can get something close to this great setup. I love this setup. It's fantastic.
We'll do something good. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys liked that episode. And if you haven't already, go check out his page. Go check out his work. And I just want to say that I love that you are the same person that you were back then when I met you. You are still that same amazing, humble, grounded energy, and you see the genuineness like through your work as well. You're not somebody different on Instagram and in real life, and I love that about you.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I would kill myself if I was a different person. It's a lot to maintain. You'd rather just choose one and be yourself. It's so easy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's also the easier way out,
It is the
so difficult to maintain 2 personalities.
That's true. But yeah, everyone, Rohit Jethwani, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Rohit, thank you so much for making it. It's been an absolute honor. I had so much fun.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. I think this was great. I had a great time.
Yay!
All right. Great. Lovely.